Hello and welcome everyone into the Harvest Festival event that has brought in the evolution of Dipplin and Hydrapple into the game, as well as a few shiny boosts for things like Pumpkaboo and Smoliv, which isn't all too bad. We've actually got a couple of collection challenges to work through today, and thanks very much to Barside2 Paul from the Patreon squad, who's gifted us the ticketed timed research for this event, which does give us a Mossy lure and one of the new Syrupy apples. Yes, you're going to need a new type of apple in order to evolve Applin up to all the way to Hydrapple, which is a shame. Speaking of shiny boosts, it's not a shiny Pumpkaboo, just to kick things off. So there's no new shiny for this event, as it were, but there's a new evolution line, which isn't all too bad, to be honest. But there's boosts on Mossy lures, there's boosts on shinies. It looks like a decent event, and it runs for a good couple of days. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below, as always. I will say you are going to need a combination of 600 Applin candy to get an Hydrapple evolved. On the note of shiny boosts, a couple of days ago, we did pull in our Shadow Shiny Latias, which took a good sort of 15 remote raids to do. So really pleased to have picked up that Shadow Shiny Legendary. And anybody who's been on the remote raid game recently may know that the Indonesian football Pikachu has made a return, and after a couple of raids, only a few raids, we picked up a second shiny of it, which is awesome. Thanks very much to DJ Phantom, who organised the RSVP for that one. And a quick shout out to Leak Duck. If you want to know the research task for today's event, or this week's event, shall we say, catch 10 Pokemon can give you one of the shiny boosted Smoliv, catch 15 grass type is going to give you the Applin, which still can't be shiny, unfortunately, but 306 for your 100% on that one. And then either 5 or 10 berries on a Pokemon is going to give you one of the Pumpkaboo encounters, which obviously range CPs depending on how big they are. But right now, what do we need to do? Well, actually, we've got the October Go Pass at long last, so let's go through and claim a whole bunch of rewards for this one. And it does give you a decent amount of Pokecoins. That's the featured premium item, as it were. So I think you get 400 for free, and there's an extra 1,000 or 1,200 if you buy the ticketed kind of paid premium track one, which in terms of value for money, plus all the items you get, actually does make a really good purchase if you're just looking for general items in the game. It doesn't have the same zest, in my view. That ain't a shiny D-Max Omanyte, unfortunately. It doesn't have quite the same zest as a lucky trinket or a bottle cap, for example. So I think I will get it this month because I think the Pokecoins are worth it, but may not be your bag. Let me know in the comments. D-Max Omanyte's gonna be 91, not too bad at all. We got a Torchic encounter for a non-shiny, unfortunately. I don't think that's a 100%er from rough memory. We got a Burmy as well, lovely, not shiny. And finally a Lileep that's not shiny. What a surprise. Anyway, daily instance is going on. We're definitely gonna drop a bunch of Mossy lures, see how many apples we can pull in today's little video. However, it's worth remembering that the bonuses for this event, yes, you've got 2 times catch candy for using your silver and your regular pineapples on Pokemon, which is lovely. The only way to get apples, it seems, unless you're very lucky, is the increased chance of getting the apples to appear from Mossy lure modules active at Pokestops. Now, I have a little bit of an issue with that because it's a premium paid item already. It's also worth remembering that apples don't just transform into Applin or become one of the 3 different apple items in the game. You could find yourself getting an Alolan Executor, Snorlax, supersized Pumpkaboo, or a Smoliv. Your spawns are as so you've got Miltank in there, Combi, which you do need for a collection challenge, and that's a Stardust boosted Pokemon, which is quite nice. The Candy Apple Premium Time Research is actually $5, I'm much mistaken, but it does give you a good chunk of stuff. It's actually 3 stage, so you get 3 Mossy lure modules and a whole bunch of encounters, so it kind of pays for its way. And those are your shinies, your boosted shinies. And speaking of the premium time research, let's get the first stage of 3 completed. There is an Applin at 285, unfortunately not a 306 100%er. We know that's not a Hundo. Let's go for this one. It's another apple. Ooh, 300, that's a little bit more like it. And then we got ourselves one of the Mossy lures and a Syrupy apple. You need 20 of those before you even think about getting the candy to evolve a damn thing. And we've got 3 research tasks. So up first is 5 berries for a super huge Pumpkaboo. Let's get that thing caught. This is catch 10 Pokemon for a Smoliv the Olive. I love that Pokemon. Probably will get a community day in the future. And this is an apple task. 286. Already found a couple more Applin tasks, so let's see if there's going to be sadly no 100%er. I have noticed a couple of Applin in the wild, but they're just Applin in the wild. They don't seem to be, hiding as an apple. So maybe that's a broken thing for the beginning of an event. What would be new with Pokemon Go these days? There's another 300er. And the final one, it ain't 301. I can actually demonstrate what I mean with Applin. Look, you see that Applin there is just an Applin on the map. I don't know if it's a change or a bug or something that's broken. Surprise, surprise, as I said. but you can see I haven't tapped on it because it's not facing me, and I haven't restarted the game, so you can just click it and get the Applin. Make sure you put the silver pineapple down. I've actually put down Primal Groudon. I'm doing my rotations, getting all megas to tier 3, but make sure you got a tier 3 grass type down to cover the Applin extra candy. It's definitely worth it for this event. Terrible 0 star. Doing the berry task has pulled off already in literally less than an hour of the event going live. 520 CP is a nice, really nice, shiny Pumpkaboo. So let's get that thing caught. I think it's the normal sized one. It's a great shiny family, really cool, and it will be featured, I think, for the Halloween event as well. Or actually, on the note of that, how sick are the costumes that are coming in part 2? Genuinely, we'll talk more about the Halloween event, part 1 and 2 coming up, but I am very excited for those. First shiny of the event, and it's 87%. That's actually not too bad. 10 to the 10th is an XL, so not the XXL. In fact, Daily Incense, there you go. We even got an Applin off of it, which is nice. Not a huge abundance of event field research tasks, I will say, but there you go, there's a berry one, fantastic. And since the Daily Incense is done, let's check out part 2 of the premium track. Again, Paul, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate your generosity. And double Applin check. 296 isn't going to cut it, 10 CP off, and we have a raid invite. Hundo, no, 287. Loves giving me 287. Don't forget, you should still have the Trading Sundays event going live. So on Solosis Community Day, you should get extra special trades and much more. Increased chance of luckies and things like that. So, hey, worth taking advantage of. But there's another Mossy lure and another apple for 287. What did I say? Well, I'm going to finish this route and then going to get a coffee and drop some lures. You will have already seen this, but the next couple of stages of the Keldeo special research are now live, and we've already done them. It's basically power up, catch different species, catch a bunch of stuff, and use some berries. So you get an extra Mossy lure totally for free. And as you can see here, we've got power up 15 again. We've got to take 10 snapshots of Pokemon in the wild, 3 max battles, and earn some Stardust. The final little bit of the premium track, and very much the final thing before we go and sit down with a nice hot pot of coffee. 281, the worst one we've seen so far. Check is gonna be 292. It'll be very nice to pick up a Hundo Applin, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. 2 more Syrupy apples, Mossy lure, Stardust. Let's complete the collection challenges, shall we? So this one was related to something, but 296. At least you get some Applin from the collection challenges, so definitely worth going and evolving things. Got to catch a combi and evolve a female one. Got to catch and evolve a Smoliv all the way, and then catch each one of the different Pumpkaboos, which if you're doing the 5 or 10 berry research tasks, is going to be incredibly easy to take down. Smoliv gives us an apple and an Applin of 297. Slow increment increase. Ah, I love ticking things off. And a Pumpkaboo that isn't shiny. We might as well go through some of the current in-game news, since it has been a little while since we've been here on the channel. So you've now got something that's coming starting the 12th of October, which is this sort of former group of 3 trainers around the world, as far as I can see. It's going to feature some weekly challenges, and you can complete them and track the group's progress through a new social tab. Whether that's a new tab again, or whether it's going to replace the party tab, I'm not quite sure, but it's quite nice that it's going to be free and you can team up with your friends globally. I think that's a cool addition. You'll have seen the G-Max Garbodor being announced, but the Halloween celebrations, again, the fact that part 1 is going to be dropping shiny Sinistea in the wild and from 1-star raid, shiny boost in 1-star raid, but also brand new Pokemon of Poltergeist. I think it's the Gen 9 kind of matchup Pokemon, which is really, really nice. And then as you can see here, part 2 drops the whole load of costumes. You've got Teddy Ursa with the witch hat that can evolve all the way through to Ursa Luna, which is frankly insane. Plus Noibat with the headband on it. These are taken from the Pokemon Center plushies. There's actually real life keychains that you can buy on the center. So hey, if you fancy some Pokemon stuff, you can head over there and buy those. But the final week of October and the beginning of November, I will say I'm likely to be in Poland for the very beginning of that event. It's gonna be very nice, heading over to Gdansk on the coast. So we'll be shiny hunting in Poland for some Polish bears and bats. It also means, people, that the spotlight hour for Sinistea on the 28th of October is going to be shiny eligible, which is insanely cool. And apparently Teddy Ursa and Noibat are shiny boosted for part 2. Honestly, October and Halloween are ending really strongly in my view. Yes, there's no Mimikyu yet, but don't forget, they're going to hold out on the fan favorites and things like that. Mimikyu will probably come next year with the 10-year anniversary celebrations that will be going on in 2026. Right now, it's 5 to 11, and I think it's a perfect time to go and get a coffee. So coffee has now been acquired, and Spatial Rend and many lures, hopefully equal apples. So far we've seen 2 and an Applin. Oh, by the way, from the Steel Skyline field research task, I have that saved. I'm gonna try and find somewhere cool to catch that. Apples, let's go. if it had let me tap it. Oh, there's a Kecleon in that stop. Sweet. Come on, Kecleon. Not shiny. Remembering at the moment that Indonesia Football Pikachu is remotable and available, so you can jump into my Discord or definitely use the RSVP system, ping people those invites for this thing. Second time it's been out, never going to say no to more of it. Lure and coffee. That's all this is right now. Come on. 515. You want 536 for the Hundo of Pikachu, of course. Pikachu will be back for Halloween in its more standardized, typical costume. Not shiny this time around. You are listening to the Incensed podcast. Go and drop it a download. The most recent available episode at the moment has Hanny Mew as the guest on it. He's a great guy, German content creator. Go and drop him a follow as well. Definitely drop this one a listen. And 244 is releasing on Sunday, people, just for Solosis Community Day. That's pretty flat. Is it an item or a spawn? It's a Smoliv, the new Syrupy apples. We've got 24 of them. That is including some premium research, of course. We have got the candy, so just make sure you put in those pineapples down. I've also come to the realization that the Mossy lures for this event last an hour, so we have a lot of time to burn now. We've only done 20 minutes of the lure session, but I do have this 98% Applin that I got from a random trade. So I thought, since we've got the candy and we've got the apples, let's get Dipplin evolved, because when it becomes Dipplin, in order to get it to Hydrapple, you have to put it as your buddy and then get 7 dragon type catches, I think. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's a challenge I'm prepared to do for the video. And it's 98%, we're unlikely to pick up a Hundo, but there is Dipplin, and it follows a sort of more toffee apple kind of sweet apple theme, which I think is quite nice. But here it's a Gen 9 version. Here, adventure together, catch 7 dragon type Pokemon. Now, the good thing is Shadow Latias is available in the 5-star Shadow raids. I think Applin itself counts as a dragon type catch, so it may not be the trickiest thing in the world to do. In fact, is this going to be an Applin encounter? That would have worked nicely, but hey, we've got 40 minutes of lure time left, so let's get this thing done and dusted. Let me know, have you evolved? Are you waiting for a lucky? Are you waiting for a Hundo? Because in terms of evolving this thing, I don't think it serves any purpose in any meta, in any aspect of this game. While I'm just jumping in a random Deoxys raid, I thought I'd make mention, if you follow me on Instagram or the Pokemon GO UK account on either Instagram or I think TikTok as well, you may have seen I did a collaborative little piece of content with them regarding the whole level 80 thing. It was very nice to have the opportunity. Thank you very much to the UK Pokemon GO team for contacting and everything like that. However, it was released yesterday, the 9th of October, and I recorded and submitted it on the 6th of September. So I'm not quite sure what made them delay the release of it so badly, considering that basically they've released it with like 6 days or less in terms of before level 80 comes to the fold. I have seen some bits and pieces, I can't talk about it right now, but I will say it's not going to be such a revolutionary change, but it does make a good question. It's something that if you want to, I can dive into in a sort of longer format chatty kind of video, a bit of a natter, shall we say. What does level 80 actually mean these days in Pokemon GO? And the short answer is basically nothing. Because what matters is the state of your Pokemon. Depending on how the goalposts are moved, you'll be able to acquire XL candy at a low level. You'll be able to get Pokemon to level 50 at some level, because the link between Pokemon being level 50 and you being level 80 doesn't exist. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to have a little bit of a chat video about level 80, because it's something I could definitely talk about forever. Why do you think I do a Pokemon GO podcast with the Waterfall Master 27? It ain't yellow, unfortunately. No shiny Deoxys since it's come back into the raids. And before we conclude today's Harvest Festival video, a big thanks, as always, to every single person who's part of the awesome Patreon squad, the folks who take the support to the next level that's possible. It means that we can do things like the city safaris. I can confirm we have booked LA. We will be in LA, Los Angeles for tour, and that is in part, no small part, thanks to these peeps as well, and all of you watching the content. Really appreciate the support. It's absolutely awesome. But these guys mean that things can be booked travel-wise and push the content and everything like that so much further. So appreciate every single one of you guys. And yes, we're back at home, and we're basically just luring up the home stops while we conclude this video and I begin the editing process for you to all enjoy it. But we have managed to complete the 7 dragon type catches alone Alolan Executor is a spawn that does count for this, of course, and I managed to find a Dragon-type Grunt. So we can get Hydrapple. We're going to keep pushing for the research task and seeing if we can get ourselves a Hundo Applin or trade them. We did just pick up a Lucky, which was rather cool. But in comes the brand new evolution, Paldean Edition, the Hydrapple. And I'm sure this is going to be looking very cool, particularly when the shiny eventually gets released, probably next year. But there we go. That becomes a proper sort of dragon serpent, actually, stuck in a giant apple. But there you go. That's a double dex for you guys to enjoy. And let me know, have you evolved yours already or not? Because haven't had too much trouble getting the syrupy apples or pineappling everything to get the candy, but we have put down a hell of a lot of mossy lures over the course of this video. I don't know why, I have never evolved a shiny Pumpkaboo, and this is the one that we caught today through field research. We could evolve this one. We actually got in Cologne when we were over there for Mankey Community Day. I think there was a Harvest Festival event actually running at the similar time as that event, but that was November time for some reason. So let's get shiny Gorgeist actually evolved ahead of Halloween, and I believe the costume Phantom should be back hopefully for that one. But on the note of travel, you may have seen a new wave of city safaris are coming, so anybody who's heading over to those, have the best time. This is an amazing little shiny. I absolutely love this thing. Don't know why I've never evolved it, but it's fantastic to add it to the shiny decks there with the purple kind of arm, hair, black pumpkin thingy. Sydney, Miami, and Buenos Aires. You guys over there, anybody who's traveling to those, have the best time. And if you can get to one of those city safaris, make sure that you do so, because honestly, the city safari events, unless you're traveling a very long way, I will confirm I'm not doing any of those, unfortunately. Just can't explain the expense of traveling to Miami. It's like 600 quid and flying, which is just mental for a weekend. But if you're able to travel to one of them, definitely go and do it. And I hope you have a fantastic time, as I said. But that's going to conclude today's little video. So if you enjoyed what you saw here, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below and sticking with me for more Pokemon Go content. And of course, you can check out some of the previous videos on the channel here. If you want to have a taste and a look at what a city safari could look like, go and check out the trip we had to Valencia literally a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, we do have Solosis Community Day coming up. You can go and check out that one. It's a random video. But I will say, until the next time, folks, do take care.